Hello viewer, I want to show you a quick clip of me playing a Crucible game on Destiny where I go 27-8. While you watch this, I want to go over a couple tips for PvP. And I think this can be applied for most games, especially first-person shooters. The first thing I want to go over is the fact that games like this, and obviously other games, are partially skill, and the other part is decision making. I mean, I guess you can break it down to more subcategories, but those are the two main things I feel like. And I feel like decision making gets overlooked a lot. Like, people don't understand. They just go into a situation and then they assume that their skill will carry them through that situation. That's not the case. Sometimes you're in a situation where you cannot, like, it's physically impossible for you to actually get out of it alive and get kills or whatever. But the thing about skill is that skill comes with time, right? So if you just purposefully just like try to aim better and try to be more coordinated with your team and just like look out for things, your skill will get better, right? I guess that kind of segues into decision making, right? Decision making, you need to understand a couple things. You need to understand the number of enemies you're gonna run into. That's what the radar is there for, right? So like you need to know if there's a lot of enemies in there and you can't get in. And I know it sounds stupid. It sounds like, oh, this is obvious stuff that you should know. But when you're playing a game, a lot of it is just like straight up reaction, and you don't like to think too much. You just want to do. And if you want to be a better player, I feel like you need to like make sure you actually pay attention to these things. So you need to realize that the number of enemies you're going into, is it actually possible for you to get in there? And you should know, you should have an idea, a realistic idea of what your skill is. And then with that idea of your skill, you should decide, okay, can I really take on that many enemies? Do I have power weapons? Do I have sufficient ammo? Do I have sufficient health? Those things are very important that you need to look out for, that a lot of people just kind of just overlook. Another thing that you need to realize is like the number of teammates you have, right? So like if you want to go in a situation where there's 3 people over there, there's 3 enemies over there, you have 2 allies, that's 3v3. There's a fair chance of you winning. But there's other situations where it's like there's 1 enemy and there's a bunch of you guys and you know for sure you should win. And the worst situation is where there's a bunch of enemies and you are like outnumbered and you still want to go in. Like, unless you have that confidence in your team, then sure, you can do it, whatever. But that won't always be the case, right? So one thing I think that people overlook sometimes is the use of the radar. And I know the radar is obviously, you know, used to find enemies, but it's also good to find your allies. Because if you want to go in a situation where you feel like you might be outnumbered and outskilled, you look at your radar, you can see if there's allies behind you, or otherwise you obviously couldn't see. So that's a good way to actually find out if you will win the situation or if the situation is worth going into. And I know with this game specifically, Destiny has a very interesting radar. I haven't ever seen a game with this kind of radar, but I actually like it. I think it's refreshing. I think it's very cool. I mean, it took a while to get used to. I'm pretty sure everyone felt that way. But I think that it still works as a radar. I think that it still gives you just enough information to let you know where the ally is. I know if they get too close, it kind of gets weird. But in terms of mid to longish range, it tells you where they are. You can get a good idea. I think especially with this Destiny radar, it's part understanding radar and part understanding the map, right? Because like if you use that information together, like where they are on the radar and where realistically they can be on the map, I feel like that combination of information is just enough. Like, it's enough information for you to know where the enemy is, more or less. I feel like there's a lot to this radar, and it'd be better if I covered it in a separate video or actually like put like charts or like screen caps of the actual radar. But the other thing about the radar that I like is that you can actually still tell what level they are. You can tell if they're on the same level as you, if they're above you, and if they're below you. It's different than Reach. Halo Reach was easier because I think it just showed an arrow pointing up and down, which is awesome. But yeah, the last thing about the radar that I want to talk about, and it's gonna be the last thing, period, that I'm gonna talk about, is the crouching. Right? If you crouch, you start blinking on the radar to your enemies and to yourself. If you watch your own radar and you crouch, you can actually see yourself blinking off and on. I know in the other Halo games, like I'm pretty sure you were just like completely gone off the radar. But there's a trick in this, and I'll probably show you in a separate video. if you crouch and you time it correctly, you can like cancel the blink and you'll be visible for a little bit. It's actually it's not a complete cancel, but you'll be visible a lot less than if you were just to stay crouched. It's an interesting technique that you might want to use. I'm not sure. I'll show you guys in another video. But I think that's it for now. That's my tips that I have for PvP in general. I guess this video is probably pointed towards Destiny a little more, but we're watching Destiny gameplay, right? Alright, so you have any questions, or if you want to leave a comment, you want to discuss, that's fine. I'm down with discussing. I like talking. Just leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I'm just going to let the rest of the video play. Enjoy.
You neutralized Zone A. Zone A secure. Zone C lost. Enemy captured Zone C. You're in the lead. Heavy ammo inbound. You're falling behind. Zone B neutralized. Heavy ammo available. Zone A lost. Zone B secure. Enemy captured Zone A. Zone B lost. Zone C neutralized. Enemy captured Zone B. Zone C secure. Five minutes remaining. Zone C lost. Enemy captured Zone C. They've got them all, Guardians. You neutralized Zone A. Zone A secure. Zone B neutralized. You neutralized Zone C. Your light is stronger than this, Guardian. Show them. Zone C captured. Heavy ammo on the way. Heavy ammo available. Defeat is not surrender, Guardian.